Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm here to talk to you about my project. It's the DNA project for the surname Virgin. I've got a couple of goals here with this project. First is to find the origin of the surname Virgin. This is what got me started in the first place. Virgin is a very unique, unusual surname, and I want to try and find the origin of it. I'm not sure if this project will lead me to that answer, but that's my goal. Next would be to identify the common ancestors that link all of our lines together, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next slides. And then third is to scientifically prove the age of the surname Virgin could be one of the oldest using Y-DNA proof. Okay, what is Y-DNA? We have 23 chromosomes in the human body. And for males, they have here uh, instead of two X chromosomes like females, males have an X chromosome and a Y chromosome. You can see a picture of what an X chromosome looks like versus a Y chromosome. And so that's why this test is called the big Y test or Y-DNA testing, is because it only applies to males who have this special XY chromosome configuration. Okay, how does this big Y test work? Well, it works like this. You have this father to son to son to son transfer of the Y chromosome. And so that's how it's passed through the patrilineal line. And there are a couple of things that we're measuring in this Y chromosome that's passed patrilineally, and that is what's called an STR, which stands for short tandem repeats, where you have a base and the helix of the DNA molecules. So these base molecules are represented by the letters A, G, T, and C. And in different combinations, they will repeat. So, for example, this is a repeat of CTAG, CTAG, CTAG. So, this is a short tandem repeat section of the Y DNA. And then the other thing that they're measuring here is what are called single nucleotide polymorphisms. And how that works is if you have a one base pair in one, like this is the father, and then when he passes on his Y chromosome to his son, he it changes. It's by mutation, by random mutation, one location. So one of these molecules will change from an A to a G, for example. That's a single nucleotide polymorphism. And so this Y-DNA test tests a 111 of these locations, and also it tests 589 of the S&P locations. So if you add 111 plus 589, you get 700. That's why this DNA test is called the big Y700 test. Okay, the rate of mutation is all statistics, and it can be looked at in the form of this bell curve. It's either an average of 83 years is the average here between mutations for SNPs specifically, or it is approximately one third of a father's son. So if a father has 10 sons, then three of those sons will have a mutation and the other seven will not. So that is how uh, these mutations are measured. This is a very slowly mutating area of the Y chromosome, which allows for these very precise mappings of these of the genealogy of males. So if it were any faster, then it would be impossible to identify going back hundreds and thousands of years. Uh, so this slow rate of mutation is what makes this whole thing possible. It's only possible in this Y chromosome, this special area of the Y chromosome. In practicality, this is the tool that family tree DNA looks at it, shows us when doing this mapping. It's called the block tree. And these numbers are haplogroups and represent, you can imagine a person. So this FTD 9014 would be a person. And and so when you have the block trees converge, this is where you have common ancestors. So right now with the testing that's already been done, we have a Virginia line of virgins that this is a immigrant who uh, immigrated from England to Virginia in the 1600s. And this is a New England immigrant. So this is a immigrant who went from England to New Eng from England to New England around 1700-ish. And so we have these two specific lines that we've already tested, and we know that their common ancestor happened before 1500 in England. And so that's how we know this is a very old surname. Okay, so we have identified now three lines. And so, like I said before, we have the Virginia. This is the Virginia immigrant, Robert Virgin, and this is the New England immigrant, Richard Virgin. So we have these we believe came from Kent to Virginia and then to the frontier all the way out to California. And then we have the Somerset to New England family via Richard. And they stayed a lot on the East Coast, pretty much, in New England. And then we have a Puddington family. This is a new family line that we have I recently identified, who started in Puddington and ended up in London. So what we're trying to find out is where are the common ancestors to these three lines that will help us in this project. Okay, how can you help? Well, if you are a male with the surname Virgin and you want to help me with this project, you can take this big Y700 DNA test at Family Tree DNA. And if you want, I'm happy to pay for it through the project budget that I have. And so just contact me here at my email address if you want me to pay for it. And that's how you can help contribute to this project. Thank you for listening.